Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and let's do my third quarterly wrap up. Two things to address before we begin. First of all, I did in fact cut my hair. If you don't like it, please, I have haircut trauma. Don't tell me. I know it's short, okay? But tell me it looks healthy. Because it does. All right. Second thing, I'm posting this a bit early. Usually I would post it the first 2 weeks of October, but one of my vlogs is taking me a bit longer to get to. So I just wanted to post or record rather a faster video, which is such, so that I can get a video to you this week, stay consistent, stay posting, and not stress myself out reading an anticipated read quicker than I would like. So let's get into the statistics for this quarterly wrap up, which entails July, August, and September. So in the past 3 months, I read a total of 29 books. I still haven't finished 2 of that 29, so technically 27 by this date, but I think it can be done. It is September 25th. I have 2 books. I think I could finish these 2 books in that time. So let's just count them. And the good news is that I've officially also crossed 100 books. I am now at 102. So I've hit that goal. We'll get to that later. But I always love when I read 100 books. I feel like I slayed. So congrats to me. Pages read for the past 3 months. I read a total of 12,490 pages, which is really interesting because if you look at my second quarter, I read about 32 books, but I read less pages. Part of that is probably due to the manga, but I would have read more books. No, I don't know if that necessarily means anything, but it's just interesting to look at. Audio listening, 307 hours, pretty consistent. Audiobook listening is what I do the most. So I'm always going to hit an absurd sounding amount of hours just because it's a lot easier to take care of a child when you're just listening to audiobooks. I changed the direction because the mess was in the back and I didn't notice. Moods. So I have been pretty consistent across the board for this entire year, staying within adventurous, emotional, and dark as my moods for this graph. That makes the most sense to me. Dark because I do read a lot of horror. Emotional tends to tack itself on to horror, and adventurous is all of the science fiction and fantasy that I read. Makes sense to me. It's pretty much within what I like to read and what I have been reading, so that's cool. Page numbers still remaining between 300 to 500 pages. That also makes sense to me. Not that I don't tend to read them, but I'm definitely fearful of them. The 500 plus books, they scare me, so I often try to put them off, but I am thinking of potentially making that a goal next year to read at least one 500 plus book a month. Could be a challenge I tackle myself. We'll see. Fiction or nonfiction. I'm still mostly reading fiction, but nonfiction is exactly happening within my goal. Talk about it later, but I've read 14 for the year so far. 15 if you count one of the books I haven't finished yet. So good for me. Format, like I said, mostly audio, just super easy. The way to do it when you have a baby, I think it's the only way to do it if you have a baby. And then the average rating for the year is 3.7 stars, which is pretty high. I didn't think I was having a solid reading year, but I think I'm reading more books I enjoyed this year than I realized. And I think that's partially to do with the fact that I'm focusing a lot on creating videos, but also specifically creating vlogs that I want to create. And thus in turn, because I'm creating content that I want to create, I'm going to be reading books that I want to read for that content. So I think that accumulates to a pretty happy me and books that I am at least interested in. They don't necessarily have to always be bangers, but at least I'm interested in them. And because I'm interested in them, I'll probably like them. So let's go over my goals that I had set at the beginning of the year. I'll leave a link to that video up above, but I had a total of 7, I couldn't even get to 10, 7 goals that I wanted to really hone in on and focus this year. So the first goal was to, of course, read 100 books. So slay, crushed it. Like I said, I'm currently at 102 books, 104 if I finish the next 2 books in the next 4 days, which is really good. And everything from here, I don't need to be stressed about. I can just take my time essentially. And I'm excited to see what my total amount of books read will be for the end of the year. The next goal I had was to read 1 nonfiction book a month. Like I said, I have been really doing well at that. I've read 14 books. We are currently in the 9th month. So I've read 5 more nonfiction books than my goal so far. Partly, I think that is just because I am more interested in nonfiction books this year than I was in previous years. I also have a lot more nonfiction on my TBR that is interesting me. And I think that this number is only going to go up from here because I did a video recently where it was a walk 10K steps a day for a week. And in that video, I didn't necessarily listen to only nonfiction. I actually read 2 science fictions and 1 nonfiction. But I realized how much audiobook listening I could do if I do go for extensive long walks. And I think that that's how I'm going to be able to knock out my my ever growing, honestly, nonfiction TBR by listening to them on audio. I prefer to listen to nonfiction on audio. So I think that that's going to really help me crush this goal, although it's already been crushed. But again, I'm really interested to see how many nonfiction books I read by the end of the year. So the next goal I had is to read more classics. This is like a slightly successful thing. I definitely have read more classics than I've read ever before. But I really only did 1 vlog this year where I read classics. I don't know necessarily how many. I think I'm probably at like 4 or 5. So not like I'm in an overabundance classics reader now, but I'm definitely reading way more than I did last year. I have another video I want to do later in the year where I reread some classics that I read for my English degree. So if you don't know, I have an English degree, and within that English degree, I had to take a lot of classes that weren't necessarily focusing on modern books. A lot of an English degree is obviously looking at the transition of creative writing in general over generations, years, decades, centuries sometimes. And sometimes I just didn't enjoy reading the books. What we saw, however, in that classics video I mentioned, when I reread Frankenstein. So when I read Frankenstein in my English degree, I gave it a 2 stars. However, when I reread it for this video, guys, I was shook and shaken for how much I loved Frankenstein. And now, just as like a side note, I'm rereading Bunny by Mona Awad, and the notes and discussions towards Frankenstein that I didn't see before, astounding. These 2 ideas sort of made me realize that there is a chance now in like my adulthood where I'm not getting high in between classes and falling asleep in class that I could potentially like more classics than I realized. So the goal of this video is to reread classics that I read in my English degree and seeing if my opinion on them changed. So guys, we're doing Pride and Prejudice, which I only gave 3 stars. I could still give it 3 stars. Listen, I could still give it 3 stars. But the idea is that I might not. I also have The Great Gatsby, which I despise. I thought maybe I love it. Who knows? And that's the brilliance of working on your goals for the year and then also rereading things that you are not sure if you like anymore. The next goal after that was dwindle down my YA TBR. I definitely consider this a slay. So far, I think I've done 2 or 3 videos. I can't really remember, mommy brain. And I have just been tackling that TBR shelf like there's no tomorrow. I have a plan for a horror themed dwindle down my YA TBR because I do tend to enjoy horror over all different age ranges. At the end of every dwindle down my YA TBR, I decide if I want to unhaul the YA books that I'm reading and put them back into my community. Now, in all those other videos, they've all gone back into the community because I just see there's more value in putting them there than in my home. However, I have a feeling that this horror edition will make me very selfish and I will probably keep 1 or 2. Very excited to get to that video. Honestly, I have 4 books that I would like to tackle for that video. I definitely see myself keeping some of them. I do think it's going to be the last dwindle down my YA TBR video for the year, but it's a goal that I think I'm going to reassess and look at for 2026 and maybe take it a bit more seriously and try to do one a month. We'll see. I'm going to reassess in a like December video or maybe my next quarterly wrap up in December and really like hone in on those goals and see what we need to do. The next goal was to read more Brandon Sanderson, because I have so many of his books. I do consider him one of my favorite authors, but I have been putting him off. He is part of those 500 plus page books that I am scared to tackle. I have some ideas for how I can tackle those books. Since the last quarter where I read 0, I have read one. I think in the next quarter, I just have a goal maybe to read 1 more Brandon Sanderson for the year, just to say that I tried at least once a quarter to tackle him. We'll see. I definitely turn a blind eye to him when I look at my shelves. Oh my God, the next goal. Finish Wheel of Time. The way I hate this series, the more I put it off, the more I am dreading reading the rest of it. I want these off my shelves. I hate them so much. You would think like, Kelsey, just DNF the fucking series. We're fed up of hearing about it. I agree. However, I have a goal in my stupid head where I have to read everything that Brandon Sanderson ever wrote. And so I have to read the Wheel of Time books that he wrote. It's just what I have to do. I'm sorry. I have to do it. My brain won't allow me to not do it. Have I done it? No. And then the last goal was to try to post consistently. So definitely a slay. I don't really think I've missed any, maybe like 1 week in this last quarter of posting. I'm really, really, really proud of myself. It was, I think, such a monumentous goal that I wanted to do in January. When I was 1 month postpartum, I was exhausted. I was so tired. I was so scared to be a mom. I didn't know what I was going to be able to handle as a mom. I'm so happy to say that I have just been thriving, and posting consistently has been a challenge. Yes, because obviously being a content creator with books is a bit more difficult because books take more of your time to consume and then to discuss, right? It's been a challenge, but it's a challenge that I'm absolutely loving. I really, 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 guys, I'm so proud of myself. So pat on the shoulder for me. I hope you guys have been enjoying my videos. I'm really, really trying to be creative as well with whatever I'm posting with the limited ideas that I have, right? I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything without my son. So I'm very limited to my condo. And so I'm really trying to be creative with at least the different types of books I'm reading. So I hope that everyone is appreciating them. Please tell me that you like my videos. Okay, thank you. Bye. And now I'm going to add just something that I haven't done in the quarterly wrap ups, but to talk about the different books I've read. So the best book I read of the quarter is Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wong. This follows a character, Siona, who is the first female to enter the magistrate, but she realizes that through becoming a high mage, she is dealing with a lot more than she bargained for. This was immediately a 5 stars. I absolutely adored it. I will leave a link up above to the video that I read this in because it was in a video where I was trying to find 5-star books. So I'm really happy that this made the video successful. I absolutely love this book. I love M.L. Wong as a writer. I just think she's hot on the nose with like important discussions and topics, but also her worlds are really, really interesting. So I would highly recommend this book if you have not read it because it was fantastic in my opinion, like literally from page 1, a perfect book. Next, we have the worst book or my least liked book, if you don't want me to be super mean, of the quarter, and that is Kill Creatures by Rory Power. This is about a girl who one evening, her and her friends went out to like this lookout cave and they all died except for that one girl. So on the year anniversary of their death, one of them comes back and she's really confused because she's pretty sure that she killed all of them. So the premise, insane. I was really looking forward to it, but I think this is my second Rory Power book. I don't think we get along. I don't think she is for me. I don't think her writing is for me. I always find her premises super interesting, but I never like her execution. I found this book to be really, really, really weak and really, really, really predictable. That's my opinion. If you like Rory Powers, maybe you'll like this book. Twas not for me, that's for sure. And then my most recent read of the quarter is Bunny by Mona Awad. I reread this in anticipation of her next book. I obviously absolutely love this. This is one of my favorite books of all time. So creepy, like a fever dream, but on drugs. I absolutely love this. And I think a second read of this book really solidified that it's one of my favorite books, but also I feel like I got so much more out of this book on a second read. So adored this, loved it. My current read, and the one that I do want to finish before the end of this quarter, is We Love You Bunny, also by Mona Awad. This is the second installment and it is working as both a prequel and a sequel. It follows Samantha after she is kidnapped by the bunnies because she released the tell-all book of her experience. So it is at the same time meta, scary, funny. It's been a very interesting read. The vlog for this book will be the next video coming out after this one. What do I think about it? Who knows? And lastly, I wanted to talk about 2 recent purchases that I bought for reasons that I saw within this quarter. The first book I bought was Walking Practice by Dolki Min because Kayla over at Books and Lala and Aaron over at Booked and Busy did a like read with me live stream for Kayla's members. They read this book and at first they were like, what the hell am I reading? And then at the end, I feel like they both gave it 5 stars. So I'm sorry, what was I supposed to do? I had to buy it. And then lastly, a book that's really been making the rounds and sounds so interesting to me is Strange Houses by Uketsu. I don't even know what it's about, honestly. When a writer fascinated by the macabre is approached by an acquaintance, he finds himself investigating an eerie house for sale in Tokyo. The building, with its bright and spacious interior, seems like the perfect first home, but upon closer inspection, its floor plan reveals a mysterious dead space hidden between the walls. Seeking a second opinion, the writer shares the layouts with his friend, an architect, only to discover more unnerving details throughout. This sounds, in my opinion, like a better House of Leaves, so I'm interested to see if I enjoy it. And I just realized I never talked about what walking practice is, but from what I understand, it's about an alien who's stranded on Earth. They are sort of debilitated by walking. They decided the best way to practice doing so is to hunt for food. And the food that we're talking about is not the food that we eat, let me tell you. And so these are my two recent purchases that have been, I feel, personally, at least in my reading sphere, all the rage, and therefore I just had to know what they're about. So that's it for this video. Let me know down below how your reading year is going. How many books have you read this year? What's been your favorite book this year? Let me know. Of course, if you would like to follow my reading journey, follow me on any of my other social medias. I do reluctantly leave a link down below to my Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. Listen, if you watch my videos for a long time, you know how I feel about the fact that everything we use in life is perpetuated, forced upon us by capitalism and billionaires. That's it for my soapbox. If you want to follow me there, follow me there. But other than that, because it is the end of the video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. It does wonders for my channel, makes me feel really good. And that's it. I never know how to end these things, so I will see you next time. Okay, bye!